start to follow that, right? Start to follow and track this. Starting fresh here, looking at gold. Let me remove all these lines here. So if I'm looking at gold here, it's just you know, same idea as Asian. But if you guys remember, right? So you know, one thing that I want you guys to start to do is is start to follow the thread, right? Start to follow the thread from Asian coming into the other sessions, right? So follow the thread, very important, right? So if like, for example, if you remember what we talked about for Asian session, right? We talked about you know, this day. Anybody remember what we were talking about there for Asian as far as like the daily? Because it's very important that you start to follow that, right? Start to follow and track this one candle, just that one daily candle, right? Very important you start to track this one daily candle, because you know, if you're able to do that, then you can really catch those trades, right, at the right moment. So like, you know, when we were looking at Asian session, we were looking at the fact that this daily candle here was at a resistance, right? And the daily time frame at that time was looking like this, right? The daily time frame was looking like this, right? So with no bottom wick there. So we were looking to take sells back down as that daily time frame started to flip there. And guess what happened? Exactly that, right? So we don't miss, man. We don't miss. Exactly that happened. We were looking at the fact that the daily time frame was at that resistance, but now, you know, there's a support here, right? So if you're tracking this daily time frame, you know, you're looking at this daily time frame like, whoa, where do we want to go, right? Where do we want to go here? Let me turn the light on. It's a little too dark. There we go. Much better. Now I'm in the light. Now I'm in the light. Somebody asked, do I still got to pay to get in Zoom? You have to, man. Look, man, everybody did. I think it'd be unfair if we just made it free for everybody right now, right? When a lot of guys have. But yeah, you know, so now we're looking at the daily time frame being at resistance there, and came up to resistance, rejected, and now we're coming into supports here, and now it's more than likely start to reject from that support, right? So that's the idea there. So that's probably what you guys caught there. That's probably what you were looking for there, and price action rejecting from that support there. Very interesting. So I'm probably going to be looking for buys here as well. Maybe we can go for like a little refill of that wick there on the daily, right? So maybe we go to refill that wick, so the buys could make a lot of sense here for London session, right? So if I'm looking at the 4-hour candle here, I'm looking at the fact that the 4-hour candle is also coming to that. Look at that closure in the 4-hour, bro. Wow, amazing, right? Closed right above that support there on the 4-hour candle, and we are at, you know, we got a little bit of a resistance there, tight. So the buys are going to make a lot of sense. The only way sells are going to make sense here will be if price action comes up to that resistance, right? If price action comes up to that resistance, holy if price action comes up to that resistance here, then more than likely we can look for those sells back down, right? Make sense? So we got price action pretty much trapped here, where if the buys did make sense from there, but if we start to push into that resistance, then more than likely the sells are going to make a lot more sense to take the sells back down, right? 4-hour time frame, I mean 1-hour time frame looks like it's making its way up too. We have a long ways to go before we hit that resistance there. The other idea too could be if price action decides to give us a little bit of a pullback, maybe a little bit of a range here, then we could look for some sort of breakout to take the buys back up. So I'm kind of open for both here. 15-minute time frame looks good. So we got supports here on the 15. We got resistance here on the 15. I think we can adjust just a little bit and say that's support and this becomes resistance, right? And what we can do here is we can say, okay, cool, you know, we missed the first buys here, but if we're willing to take more buys here, maybe this candle closes bearish like this, and then we can catch something like this, where we get like a break and retest back above the range here, and then we can take the buys back up. Remember, sells are only going to make sense if we tap into resistance on the higher time frame. So, you know, we would completely avoid the sells here, right? We wouldn't take these sells because remember, sells don't make sense until we tap resistance, right? So until then, the buys are going to make a lot of sense, right? So if we get a little bit of structure like this and we get a nice breakout above the range, then we're probably going to take the buys back up to continue to finish this range here. The other scenario too could be something like this, where maybe this candle decides to fill the whole range and we still haven't really tapped major resistance on the higher time frame, so the sells could get a little sketchy to hop on the first sells. But maybe we hop in something like this where price action decides to give us a little bit more of a pullback to the bottom of the range like this, and then we can take the buys back up like that, right? with the next candle. This would probably be the best setup here. If we get something like this for this session, I'd be down to take that trade back up. That'd be beautiful, spectacular, right? So that would be my plan today. You know, pull back buy off supports, or maybe a fade into resistance. We could take the sells back down, or maybe we get a little bit of structure within this range, and then we can look for breakouts above this resistance somewhere, or maybe somewhere in the range, right? So that's gonna be my plan there, man. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You guys like that? What are YouTube guys saying, right? Everybody good? Everybody good? I think we got it. Everybody good? Put a W if you like that plan, right? I took the trade from before from the supports. This one, yeah, this one was good, man. This one was good. This one was good, right? This one was good here. Yes, 4 hour close above, but it didn't. Yeah. Closes above. Yeah, it closed above there, man. You know, and I mean,